We will go live in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. Lana has been a practicing psychic for 25 years and has gifts of clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. She is an empath, a medium, as well as a pet communicator and a health advisor. This week we discuss Tools of the Trade, Part 1. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? How you doing, Matt?
Good. All the way from your beautiful bungalow there.
Yeah, I have to teach a class today. I'm going to be teaching a class out in Evansville, Wisconsin. If you remember Tasha that was on here a couple weeks ago, she owns that store. I'm teaching a class, so I have to go from here to there. I'm also, by the way, you guys, everybody, there for the next 2 weeks. Sorry to tell you, but we're going to have a canned. We're going to have our the best of, because my tonsils pulled this Friday. So I'm a little nervous, but I think I'll be okay. I just have to be positive. So, and that means no readings, nothing. I can't talk for about a week, and then I can but I won't be able to talk for great length. So I don't know when it'll be. I would say maybe 3 weeks before I can really start to do my readings again. So. So everybody, so wish me well, Good
vibes, good vibes, definitely going your way.
Good vibes. Also, some other announcements, you guys. Kent, I just was talking to Kent. We started the ability to buy sweatshirts and gear, 216 the net gear, and also my show, Metaphysical Meanderings, has a sun, a moon, and a stars. You'll be getting the link will start being supplied sometime this week. So hi Anna, hi Stephanie, hi Deanna. So everybody will know that you guys can, like, mine will be mostly like tie-dye. You guys, I think didn't I say black or gray? I think
black or gray for ours.
Shirts and t-shirts. And I have a couple of sayings on a couple of my shirts. So you have to, like, the I am principle, and then the karma, the one about karma. And yeah. So I've got other stuff on there. So you guys will have to see the link. We'll be supplying them on all the shows.
Yep.
So, yep. Thank you, Dawn. They're worried about, I will heal. I will be okay. To let you guys know that if I start losing weight a lot again, it's because I started jogging again. So I was just telling Kent that Sagittarius, if you've got a sun, a moon, or a rising anywhere, you probably need really, really heavy exercise to stay healthy. Like, and I'm talking tennis, I'm talking jogging, I'm talking something heavy. I started jogging, and I'm starting to play tennis again. My blood sugar went right, because it's starting to go up a little. It went right. So I'm like, so if you see me starting to look a little different, that's why. Plus I can't eat for about 2 weeks. So they say I can eat Jell-O. I mean, you haven't had your tonsils out, have you, Kent?
No, I'm still a kid from the 60s.
They didn't try to pull them, and now they're pulling them again. I guess it's gotten real popular to pull them again. So anyway, what we're going to do today is for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be the best of after this. And hopefully by that third week, I should be able to do an hour speaking. They did tell me from the other side, however, that if I push myself, I could hemorrhage. You better stay down. They told me that. So I am listening very well to them, because
you better listen. That's so
it scared me. And I do have a couple of small predictions for you guys today, because it came to me. I've got my phone here. Yeah. Remember, I get up in the middle of the night and write. I wrote a couple of national predictions that affect everybody. So, and are you going to go get your booster, Kent, that I predicted? that we'd have?
I have to get the second shot still.
Oh, that's right. You waited to get yours because you had antibodies. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go get my booster probably within a couple of months, make sure that I'm better from this, and then maybe October or November. So yes, I am not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in your right to be that, but I chose to get this. So to let you guys know. All right. So what we're talking about are tools of the trade today. All right. And like I said, in 2 weeks, I have like 3 guests coming up here. I don't have a guest today. They had to back it up. Sometimes they can't be the right week. So I do have the most interesting thing about spirit animals. She can hear her spirit animal on a tape. She's been trying to tape it, and you can clearly hear a lion roaring. Like it was, because that's her spirit animal, and she's been invoking Michael and praying to Michael, the archangel, who is a lion. And so that just kills me. You can hear it. She's got like 10 different tapes. So she's going to be on here in about 3 weeks. So I just thought I would share. It's just cool. So anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about the tools of the trade. Now, what do I mean by the tools of the trade? First of all, there's no magic in this. I want you guys to know that you're controlling this stuff. There's no evil demon possessed, blah, 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 you know. When you pull a tarot card, it's a reflection of how psychological. I'm sorry, at least that's my belief, and that's what I feel is going on. Because anything that you've been thinking about in the last 24 to 48 hours appears in cards. So it's you talking to yourself. Okay. So here's a good question. So if you're in a deep meditative state, is that the same thing as tarot cards and divination? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yes, it is. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about them because there's so many people that are asking me and they get confused because there's so many tools. Now, I'm going to tell you something about tools. I don't use them. I don't need them. My tool is I'm a medium. I'm talking to the people on the other side. Do I use tools when I use my YouTube channel? This is my deck. Yes, I do. Okay. So that, because there's 35,000 people watching my readings. Okay. Oh, Jello and popsicles. Yes, I know, Kristen. I'm gonna, and I can't have sugar because I'm watching my blood sugar because I don't want to be on medicine. So sorry, I'm off the subject, but yes,
well, that's the show, Metaphysical Meanderings. We'll just meander that way.
And I also, and by the way, I do have a paranormal person coming on again. Awesome. He's got some new videos and stuff, you know, he was going to share with me. So and I'm also expanding Metaphysical Meanderings also to health and wellness, alternative health and wellness. Cause I've got a person that just got she just became a holistic doctor, and she's a very good friend of mine. And I know it works. I know this stuff works. Especially Indian, like things like ashwagandha, things like that stuff works. And I had yesterday, I talked to a doctor for my pre-op thing. And they go, what are you taking? And I saw ashwagandha. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, you don't know what ashwagandha is. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, it sets hormones. It also acts as a natural antidepressant, and it flipping works. Now, not for everybody. Sometimes you gotta, but for me, I can immediately tell when I've taken it. I feel better. And it's just a real simple herb. Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there that's alternative, and that's why the business has gotten so big. You know, some of it doesn't work. Hi, Jackie. Some of it does. So, and that's okay. So anyway, moving on. Tarot cards, some of the tools of the trade. Now, as Kent, you know, I was watching another show that's here on the podcast, on 216. He was talking about people, you know, wanting to always know the future.
Yeah.
And this is my stint on the future. You already know at a deep level. Your soul knows everything you've planned while you're here. And yes, you planned it with God. It's already planned to a certain point. Now, there is some free will involved too, to keep it interesting. I mean, that's kind of what it is, what it's about. There are certain spots in your life where you're like, I could go this way, I could go this way, and to keep it interesting. But there are set things that you are here and are going to happen. So anyway, he was like, well, for millennia, it's human nature to want to know what's going to happen. And I completely agree with that. And I completely agree also that it can become obsessive. Now, I'm going to be with me, I'm a responsible reader. I'm a responsible life coach. I consider myself a life coach. I'm listed as a life coach on my website. And I will tell somebody, I really don't want you calling more than every couple months. I don't, because there's people that will call every day and they get obsessed with stuff. Like
Sure.
they're addicted to it. It's like an addiction. And so I won't be a part of that. So and a lot of it, if you really listen to yourself, you really listen, you kind of know. And the stuff you don't know, you just got to let go. And it's a process too. So to just let you know, all right. I can think back of, there's so many divination tools like you can use to talk to yourself. I remember being a kid and a woman getting on the floor with a ring and a string. Do you remember that, Kent? And then holding it. If it goes one way, it's a boy. If it goes another way, it was a girl. Because that was before we could do, do pictures and all the different things that we. Anyway, and so hi, Just Rich, hi Dawn. So anyway, so one of the first ones is tarot. Okay, so that you know the tarot. Now remember, I had somebody ask me, and by the way, join Patreon, Lana's Enchanted Sky, because I've started my second class now. I'm full of the one. I start the second, and we meet on Wednesdays. So every 2 weeks. I'm still trying to figure out how to tape it live so I can share it with them. Because I'm on Google Meet and I know I can tape it. I just have to figure out how to get it to them. And I've been using a couple of Crowdcast, a couple of different, different ones. So anyway, hi Liz. So anyway, I also wanted to tell you, and could you put this on here, Kent, for the people that don't make comments, is they might not be able to. And it occurred to me that that's possible. So would you can put, if you would like to actually talk to me and be on the show, 608-322-7070. That's my business number. Okay. And I will be taking, right now it's turned off. I will be turning it on at 10:15. I think that's because I heard there's people that they can't comment. And I thought about that. I'm like, they would probably like to comment or, do something like that live. And so there you go. Anyway, so back to this. So there's a difference between tarot cards, which are tarot. This is my tarot deck, and oracle, but not really. Because an oracle deck, like this is an oracle deck. And an oracle deck has been drawn in a simpler format. So if you see, so judgment. The judgment card, which could be the card of the day, which might as well be, means you're transforming. This judgment means at the end of when Jesus comes back, he pulls us up pulls us up and we ascend to heaven, right? That's the judgment card. And then he will come quickly to judge the quick and the dead. Correct? Okay. So, that also, that's Gabriel blowing his horn. So but what this really means, by the way, is that you're transforming, you're reforming yourself, you're reshaping yourself, you're becoming a new person, you're lifting yourself out of the ashes like a phoenix. And that's really what that card means. Now, there's a couple of other things that it can mean too, because there's like 100 nuances to this, but generally speaking, that's what that means. Now, on an oracle deck, they're simpler. That's all they are. So when you see these oracle decks.
Morning, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Okay. See, look it's time to release negativity. See, okay. And by the way, you guys haven't noticed, when I pull a card of the day, it's a card for myself. I don't know if you remember 3 weeks ago when I was in Florida, I pulled that tower card and look what happened. Yeah. I pulled a tower card, which was a shock, a blow, or something that brought swift change. I will not be live ever again on TikTok. I will not do it. So that was a swift change. And I pulled it and I went, wow, that's weird. And within 20 minutes, I had somebody threatening me on live. So anyway, so here we go. So the oracle, right? It's time to release negativity. And it's telling yes. You have to, and so all these are as oracle, they call them oracle decks. And there's thousands and thousands because everybody does artwork on them. And so, see, I've got two here. I've got this one, which is the Moonology. I guess I'll have to, you know what? I'll have to find a link onto my website for the decks I use because I know people have asked for them. Moonology is the one. This one's Lemuria, and you guys know what Lemuria is, right? Kent, do you know? You don't know? Okay,
No.
Atlantis. There was more than just Atlantis. That ancient civilization. Another one was Lemuria.
Interesting.
So that's and and so there's a lot of people, and people are convinced that there was Atlantis, and I believe there is. I believe it really existed. And I think at some point they keep saying they're going to find it, and they think they've found it near Bimini, which is off the coast of the Bahamas. But there's more to it than that. I don't quite understand, but I just know that there is more to it. Now, see, look at this card is bigger. It gives me it's the solar plexus with a radiant illumination about chakras. So they're all different, but they're the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay. All right. So now I got tons and tons. There's so many because everybody. Go ahead.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
So if somebody's looking to, what is the right deck to start with? If you're
learn to read tarot, I would start. It's called the Universal Rider-Waite. You don't want to write that in there. It's called the Rider-Waite. WIRIDER / WAITE. The Rider-Waite is the Universal Tarot. There's all the pictures are the same, and they've been developed over thousands of years. I mean, these go back all the way to ancient Egypt. They're also connected to runes. So, which is Celtic mythology going back to the Druids. So, yep, the Rider-Waite deck. Yep. Okay. So to let you know. All right. That was what love my kindness shirt. Thank you. Kindness is free. These have been around, and you do know that the deck of 52 can be read, correct? A lot of people don't know that. And yes, think about it. You've got your hearts, your wands, just the same thing. There's 4 suits in this deck. There's 4 suits in a 52. The deck of 52 is originally a tarot deck.
Right.
So that people understand the king of hearts is the king of cups. So see, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. All right. So there's more than there's tons of decks to get. But I would always say to start with this one because everything is based off of this deck and these pictures. So, okay. So, ask yourself, all you are is this is, and I would tell you, here's a secret to Darrow's. Don't read it too much. If you keep asking the same question over and over, what happens is all the time gets screwed up.
Really?
So it's closer and closer, and you could be reading minute by minute. If you ask the same question, am I getting a new job every single day or 3 times a day? It gets closer and closer and closer in time-wise because it has to do with time. See, that's what what a lot of us psychics are doing in our mediums we're time jumping. We know how to manipulate time. I'm positive of it. And that we've learned how to do it where other people haven't quite gotten there yet. That's all this is. I keep telling people everybody can do kind of what I'm doing. This is my specialty, but you have your own special psychic gift also of some sort. So anyway, that was the decks. The decks are the first. Okay. Now the next one is your pendulum. I don't know if you've ever heard of a pendulum. Have you heard of a pendulum before, Kent?
Well,
pendulum?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple here. This one lost its cord. I don't know what. I got to go get a new string for it, I guess. But and what you do with these is you get you can make a board, or you can just get like something and lay it out. Yes, no, because these are pretty much really simple. Yes, no.
Right.
Okay. And by the way, because I've talked about, I haven't covered the class yet, or the podcast yet about not getting negative energy, of not getting attachments. People who haven't crossed over can be negative, and they know you can see and hear them, so they start communicating with you. They can start bothering you and not leave. And if you're doing stuff like this, they're trying to communicate with you. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to ask for protection. Michael, God, whoever, say, you know what, everybody that's negative, anything that's negative is going to stay away from me. I will tell you that I got careless with this deck recently, and you can hear it on my YouTube channel, because what happens is I start talking really fast. I'm filling up with the energy. And so I have to, and you'll hear me literally take a sigh, slow down my speech, because that's, for me personally, that pushes all the negative energy out. Because you have to remember, yes, you're communicating with yourself, but you have the ability to communicate sometimes with people. So if that scares you and you're not ready for that, then say a prayer, and you won't. You'll be talking just to yourself. Okay. You have to remember there's another plane of its existence. So you are communicating with it. And those people are on that plane of existence. So, okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
So, cool. Yeah, this one here. Oh, I got it all messed up. I got the string on here, but it's all wound up. Some of these have been sitting for a while, because I don't need, like I said, I don't use tools. I use your family.
Well, the tools are a good thing to use if you're just starting out and learning.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They'll enhance.
And well, you have to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
You know? So, so yeah, because you look at my strings all messed up. You can see my strings down here. But yep. And so these work. I have a friend that's developed a really cool board. Because if you think about it, think about this, Kent. Do you think that I'm somehow mentally controlling this pendulum? If I want it to go say yes or no, do you think that I would be controlling it? You don't think so? You don't think that, see, look at, watch. I just made it, watch. I'm going to make it go the other direction now. I'm going to make it go clock. Look at. You see how I may move that? Yeah. It's subtle. You know what? It's subconscious. Okay. I don't think it's magic. I think it's subconscious that I can watch. I'll show you again. I'll stop it and I'll make it go the other direction now. Watch. So what happens with a pendulum is you're talking to yourself and you're kind of controlling your answers. So if you really want to have a back up and have a little bit different attitude about it, use a different tool. Because I'm going to tell you, watch. Because I also use this in hypnosis. We can control these with our minds. So watch. So what it all comes down to, isn't it all about your mind? Watch. Yes. I'm going to make it go the other direction now. See how it's going the other direction now? I'm not touching anything. See? Yep. It's real small. See? And I didn't do anything, you guys. You saw that. And then that is very common. That's normal. Okay. So, next ones, because there's so many. I mean, it's so many that I have to laugh. I bet there's 1,000. But I'm going to just cover some of the ones that are, I'm going to pull this up towards me a little more. Used more often. I mean, you really are just communicating with yourself, but yes, you can communicate with other things and other people. And you usually do it at night anyway, when you're sleeping. So if you had that dream where it's so real that your grandfather was there, they really were, you were visiting them. So that's what we do in our sleep, because we need to, because we miss home. That's our home. So telekinesis, yes, Dawn, telekinesis. Or moving objects, yes. So we've got the tarot cards. Numerology is another one. I've covered numerology. Remember I told you your own personal number? That's so accurate. It's so accurate. So, and that's been around for thousands of years. Some people don't believe in it, but numbers are magic. They seem like magic, don't they?
Well, yeah, everything.
To me, they do.
Everything because works out in the universe mathematically, I think, right?
Yes, it does. It does. So numerology is another thing. Your astrologies can be into numerology. I'm going to cover that in a minute, because right now, by the way, my followers, it's Lionsgate. Now, so that you know, I was going to cover Lionsgate as a podcast and did not. I had other things to cover. But Lionsgate happened from the 8th to the 12th of August, and it had to do with Leo season. That energy, you guys, is going to be felt all the way to the end of December. And I want you to know, what if you want something, you're going to get it. It has to do with manifestation. Okay. If you're like, well, I want $1 million. Well, okay. You want $1 million? what's going to help you make that $1 million. Here we go with the I am principle: intent, align, manifest. So just remember that. But if you truly do, this, for me, I have a book. I have a 422-page novel I wrote. It's going to publish. I'm done waiting. I've looked for publishers. I've had other people read it. They liked it. So you guys, I'll share it with you. It's about a psychic who doesn't know she's psychic. Anyway, so this is the time for you guys now until the December of 2021. You're going to get what you want. Make sure you are clearly manifesting, keeping it simple. Okay. All right. So back to this. So I Ching is another one. It's so ancient. I'm going to take a whole podcast. I'm just going to mention it because I'm going to take a whole podcast. It has to do with a whole bunch of different stuff, but it's 8,000 to 10,000 years old. It was used way back in India, and there's hints of it in Egypt. It's old. And that's a whole nother divination tool. And it's a series of stuff. So I'll have to cover that one later. All right. Crystals, your crystal ball. Yes, you can read a crystal ball. It is possible. You do understand that when you're staring at a crystal ball and you're looking into it, you're seeing here, right? You're really using your clairvoyance. So do you see how that and if you get good enough after a while, you don't need the crystal ball because you're using this here, your third eye, which is your clairvoyance. So do you see how all these tools are just helping you get started? Okay. So that's really all it is. If you think about it, it's just to get you started. Now, and I do know people, and I'm going to be, and I want to say everybody's psychic in some way, right? They dreams, whatever. But I do want to say there are some people who are not psychic the way I'm psychic. It's just different. And they might have the gift of discernment. They might have, they can see right through somebody or see back up and see the bigger picture. That's something that I need to work on. That's one thing I do not like. I need to learn to back up. And they used to call it gestalt, but I kind of, you get so involved in things that you can't quite see how everything fits together, but other people can. That's a talent that has that to do with having psychic empathic abilities. But anyway, so some people can't. I know several people who are not psychic but read cards. That's what I'm saying. So there are people out there who can say, this is what the cards say. Oh, I got the sun card. I pulled it out of the clear. Yay. It's the best card in the deck. And they can read the cards, but they can't put the psychic twist on it, where they're seeing using their clairvoyance. Just thought I would point that there are many people like that. So you got to be careful. You have to kind of watch. Like I said, if you ever get a person, like I said before, that wants money for spells or wants tons of money, the only reason I charge is because there's got to be a change of energy, and it has to be an exchange. I can't keep giving because what happens is I wear out. I'm useless to everybody. So what happens is I try not to ask a lot. And you know that I don't ask. There's like a lot of psychics out there asking double what I'm asking. So, and I'm not saying I'm any better or anything, but that's what I do. Okay. So back to this. So crystals. Clear crystals do seem to work. I've got several. See, I got lots of different sized crystal balls. Because I like them. Because this is a smoky quartz, by the way. And if I stare, I can see pictures because I see them whenever I'm talking to somebody. And do you notice I do this, Kent? Because years ago I used to be on a radio show. I used to have my own radio show, and I look up when I'm reading. Do I have a tendency to look right?
Yes.
And look back when I'm reading. Yep. Or telling people answers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so because I'm seeing into my right side of my brain. I'm using the right hemisphere of my brain. So, okay. I thought so because he said, he goes, I noticed that you look up and right and then you look back. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm looking and seeing. Like I could be looking at a crystal ball. I could be staring at something, but I just don't because I've gotten enough. I've done probably 20,000 readings. So I don't need to.
Right.
Okay. Now, so for any of you guys starting, these are just some examples of things. If you want to try this for yourself, it's so hard to read for yourself. I always tell people, don't do it. Have somebody else do it and guide you because they can see what you can't. Because here we go with the gestalt. You can't see the bigger picture sometimes. So, okay. Plus God blocks you. Yeah. God doesn't want you to know everything because you wouldn't experience it if you had to, right?
Yeah.
You'd go around it.
Your crystal ball experience.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there with you and you're reading for me using that tool, is it
Yes.
like Scooby Doo and I can see the pictures inside of it
Uh-oh.
too?
Okay. You froze a second. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is it like, Scooby Doo or something like that where I can see the pictures inside of it too, or just you
No,
because you're
it's so funny. That's a good question. You always ask such good questions, Kent. That's why you're my producer.
I'm just learning.
Because sometimes some psychics are so some psychics are so connected. I have a very good friend. Her name's Dawn. She's been on here. We see the same thing at the same time. When we're talking on the phone back and forth, and we say, well, I got to make a decision here, and I don't know what I should do, but I keep seeing blah, blah. And she'll finish my sentence because she sees it. It's an alignment thing. Honestly, once I've read for you a few times, I become a little bit like your friend, like a part of your chart. And then sometimes you can see what I'm seeing too. It's a very, very good question. Okay. Especially if you've got clairvoyance. If you don't have clairvoyance, you might have a different where you're dreaming. Like I do dream, and I've been dreaming a lot lately about different things. That's why I said I've got a couple of predictions on here. I've been waking up in the middle of the night and I just start automatically writing, and I write down, and I'm seeing yeah, I'm like, that's where some of this stuff, well, that's where almost all of this prediction stuff is coming from. So, okay. So now for the next one is, this word I just said it. So there you go. Automatic writing. You go into a deep meditative state and you start writing and things. And people, and you channel and like somebody from the other side, like your spirit guide's talking to you and you're writing down what they're talking to. For me with channeling, it's my predictions, you guys. And my predictions are coming from Mother Mary. She says her name's Mary. She's beautiful. I thought she was an angel. I don't know, but she'll show up. And some people call her Mother God. Did you know that in a lot of cultures, there is Mary, the Mother of God, is really God, her as in female form. A lot of people don't know that's a lot of the religions believe that. So, and they call her Mother God. Okay. Either way, this woman is coming, do you see the color that where it says metaphysical meanderings? That's about the color she wears. And it's wrapped around her head and she glows and she'll talk to me all the time. And I asked, who are you? And she says, Mother. And then like later, a few months, Mary. So that's who's talking, even though I'm not Catholic. I know with confidence what she's giving me is information that you all need. It's because I'm going to tell you something. If something's supposed to happen, they won't tell us because we can't change it. But if it's something we could possibly change, we have the tools if it's given to us. That's the difference. So people are like, why didn't you tell me about the pandemic? Because the pandemic was supposed to happen. That's why. Okay. So that you understand that there's nothing I could do about it. Now, I could have warned you. I do know my father-in-law came to me, who's been passed for a long time, in January and kept talking about you and your family are safe. He must have said it 6 times to me, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. It was the pandemic. I see how I didn't understand, but I do know. And see, that's who comes, my family, because I'm a clairvoyant and clairaudient, I hear and see and hear them. So that's my talent. Now I got a lot of people that they'll just say, well, it feels like that's clairsentience. I was in Florida. Did I tell you that it was she read vibrations off your handwriting. So it's a form of psychokinesis, or it's kind of like that. So, it was her talent, and she was really accurate. She really picked up on a lot of stuff, which was fascinating. And I wanted her to be on my podcast, but she said no. So, because she's like, well, she was in her 70s, and you know how when older people don't like technology sometimes. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay. But I wrote down lots of notes because I'm always willing to learn. I want to know all these major religions. What are you practicing? How do you do this? I'm always wanting to learn. So I can never get enough. I'm a Sag. Sons love education. So the more you can give me, the better. So plus as I'm learning astrology, you guys. Your 12th house, you need to look at your 12th house, because your 12th house is things that are unseen, things that are hidden. It also can deal with the psychic realm or psychic ability and how you view it. My own personal sun sign is Sagittarius, and it's in my 12th house, which means that is going to dominate my life of things that are unseen or things that are spiritual. I'm supposed to be a psychic. It says it right across there. And I was like, yep. And plus I'm a Pisces moon, and the 12th house is controlled by Pisces, and I'm a Pisces moon. So that was the next one I was getting to, astrology. It works. I don't care what anybody says. If you know it well, and when you call me, I'm going to tell you, I can usually guess what you are. You'll hear me say that. I'll say, I bet you're a Pisces, or you're maybe a Scorpio, maybe you're a water sign. And they'll say, yeah, I'm a Scorpio rising. And when you guys call me now, I had to switch all of my schedule around, you guys. I am doing readings now just for at the end evenings. And I'm sorry for my people that are in Europe and Asia. I've got some Asian people that call me a lot. I had to do it because I'm getting ready for this surgery, and I have to make sure I'm got everything, so I had to back off a little. So if you're going to book a time, I'm really sorry. It's going to be in the evenings only right now. So, okay. Sorry. So I'll be back to my normal self in about 3 weeks. So hopefully. They're telling me about 10 to 11 days. They keep telling me, so we'll see if they're, and they talk to me, and so far they haven't been wrong. So it's gonna be 10, 11 days. So, okay. Next one is scrying. Have you ever heard of scrying?
No.
At all? Scrying is looking into a bowl. Have you ever heard of people reading tea leaves?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's scrying. You take a bowl of water, you put something in there, and then you look at things. You basically are doing the same thing as the crystal ball. You do know that, right?
No.
Because you're looking and you're staring and you're going into a meditative state, and then you're getting it clairvoyantly, right? You can see it right there. So it's kind of the same thing. Plain water, tea leaves. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with that. Okay. The next one I don't like is a Ouija board. I do not like Ouija boards. I will not use one. I am careful with my own items. I'm very careful with all my items to make sure I've blessed them and cleared them. And by the way, if you ever get something you do need cleared, like these probably should be cleared. They've been sitting around a long time. My pendulums. I'm going to put them out in the sun, or I'm going to give them a light salt bath. I probably won't do that because they're metal and I'll rust them. So I probably am going to put these out in the sun. I lay them on the ground, and that's what I do to clear them. That's so simple to clear, right? And if you guys don't believe that they're picking up negative energy, I want you to be paying attention. To go buy a clear stone, and like a nice crystal. This is a aqua aura, but clear crystal quartz. I want you to wear it for a couple of months.
I got a question. So yeah, the Ouija board, where does that gain its? I mean, it's sold in the toy aisle at Walmart.
No.
Right? So where does
they're
mass produced, and then where does this get its energy?
I'm glad you're just so perfect for me, Kent, is my producer, because I was getting to that next. So many people. Oh, I got people already calling. Oh, I meant to hold on. We'll have to wait. 5 more minutes, you guys. What I find is that people think things are all jokes and games, and they're not. These are not games to be played taken lightly. You have to be vigilant. You can get people following you around that haven't crossed. That I don't believe in demons. I just don't, but I believe that there's evil. People who've turned away from the light of God are evil. And if you want to call them a demon, go ahead. But they can do things. And when they know that you're using something to communicate at a higher level on that next plane of existence, they may try to do it. Ouija boards, I have played with them, and I can tell you a story. It scared the heck out of me when I was in, like, maybe I didn't really realize I had ability. I'm 19, 20 years old, because a lot of times you don't realize till you're around 30. And so I I had a Ouija board. I had the planchette. That's that thing that moves around on there. Fly off the wall, fly right off and hit the wall. I mean, we've seen things. I'm not playing with that. Now, like I said, I'm very careful with this. I go make sure that everything's clear and clean, and I clear it out. And so, for some reason, because I think this is what I feel about a Ouija board, is because you can really truly communicate because the letters are there, the numbers are there. Whereas really the planchette's acting as a pendulum, if you think about it. But a pendulum is just yes and no. Do you see what I'm saying? Basically. Okay. But I mean, you can do more with it. I could go into detail. You can go in more. But anyway, where I think the Ouija board is complete communication. And I want people to be careful, please, when they're going into a meditative state to ask for protection. Okay. But there people act like I've saw somebody recently and I just wanted to just scream at them. I went to a ghost hunting. I went on one of these ghost hunting tours and here's me, oh, they say they're blah, blah. And I'm sitting in next to my husband, looking at him going, yeah, he's that. Because I went to one of these in Chicago. And if you've ever been on the ghost tour with the gangsters, it's really cool. You should go, Ken. It's just a really cool time. They take you around all the different places, like where the St. Valentine's Day massacre was and all this stuff. And I'm sitting looking like this and I can see something. And he said, well, we think, and I am a medium. I'm like, yeah. Or there's been a couple.
Uh-oh, she froze up. Of course, the joy of being remote is always having Wi-Fi. So now you're back. All right.
Yeah, well, you have to remember I'm out in the country.
That's right.
And I'm sorry, like I said, I'm teaching a class right after this, so I can't. It takes me an hour and a half to get home. So from the podcast station. So yeah, they did. They didn't want me to. They didn't look at what I was saying, right? So anyway, hey, you never know because there's weird stuff I've had where my phone and my TV have flashed in code. To try to communicate with me. So I know that this is all real, and it's anyway, what I was saying was, I went to one of these places and for fun, they get let the people try to communicate with the ghosts and they give the kids, dowsing rods. I've got dowsing rods. I can't find them. I don't know where they're at. I haven't used them in years, but, and then you hold them and then, they go this, they do this back and forth. They're giving the kids this because it's all a game. I'm like, I walked up to one family, like, please, this is not a game. You are going to get an attachment, somebody following you around, trying to communicate with you. I mean, communicate with yourself, ask for protection. And they think it's a joke. Like they think a Ouija board's a joke. It's not a joke, you guys. Don't play with something you don't understand. And that's my thing. I just, I'm like, you guys don't understand. See, I know what can happen. Like we said, I had a guy that I went and cleared out his house and he was playing with a Ouija board and now he has an entity that's following him around and won't leave him alone. Well, I also figured out, and I think I've told you this story because I was up by Waupun State Prison. Did I tell you that?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah. That there's somebody else doing drugs in the house. There's negative energy in there. I can't do anything for him. Plus, he thinks it's cool. And he's like, he thinks it's kind of cool. I'm like, if you think this is cool and really don't want him gone, I'm not going to be able to get rid of him for you. So I said, I'm not coming back.
Right.
And he was kind of upset about it. And I'm like, well, I can only do so much because you've got to be willing to get rid of this entity. I just had somebody again 2-3 times ago. Well, I want the entity gone. So I clear houses. And she was having fun. I mean, that's what it was amounting to. And I had a friend that had tried to clear it and couldn't clear it either. So she sent me in and I couldn't either. I can only do so much because if you really don't want these things gone, you aren't going to get them gone. So just thought I would tell you. So for our last one for today, because we did scrying, has anybody heard about doing candles? You can like stare into the candle flame and read the candle flame and how much it jumps and stuff like that off the wick. Yep. I know people that do that. It's really fascinating because it's just a series of learning stuff. It's just a way of see how many there's just so many different ways to do this. I know somebody who does phrenology. They like touch your head and read the books in your head and can tell everything.
That's one of
So, yep.
that's one of the reasons that churches light candles and have them on the altar as well. So you can see
Yes.
how things are moving.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you have to remember, in every religion, candles are used. Every religion. So how can that be evil? Oh, I'm going to burn a black one. It's all intention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway,
Good
the
morning,
last
Jen.
one I'm going to cover is room. Hi, Jen. Oh, she says no Ouija board. I'm serious. I won't have one. And you know that when you get one and you do get given one, you should never burn it. You're never supposed to. I don't know why. There's certain things I believe are psychological, but I won't play with one. After the stuff that I've seen, and I have seen that planchet move by itself and hit a wall. It flew maybe 4 feet across the wall, the room, and hit the wall. And I said, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not playing with this. So yeah. And some people do communicate with them and they don't have trouble, but maybe they're masters of it. I won't completely say negative stuff, but I don't like them. Right. So now the last one's runes. Now runes are just stones. And like I said, I can't find my bag. I have a bag. You guys, I was just telling Ken, I've got kind of a big house and I've got like 3 or 4 different bags of things I carry when I go to read, because I'll put like a different tarot deck, stuff like in case somebody wants them. I never use them, but and I don't know what I did with the bag. It's missing right now. I know it's here. It's here somewhere because I just remember seeing it, but I don't know. But anyway, it has my runes, and all runes are stones with signs on it. The symbols are ancient from Celtic and Druid tradition. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm learning them, and they completely coordinate to tarot cards. The Hanged Man, that card is actually Odin, who is part of runes. So isn't that interesting? So see what I'm saying? That's when I said that tarot cards are really old. I am meaning they are pre-Egyptian. They are old. They have been around forever because people want to know, I want to know my future. Well, some things we aren't going to tell you the answer. And I do get one. You guys do know I get called a high priestess. And if I ever get that card, it means you aren't supposed to know. And that we aren't going to tell you. So people don't realize that. I'm like, oh yeah. There's things that they don't want you to know. So with that said, okay, I've got next week, I'm going to talk about dice. There's all kinds of stuff. In 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
I'm getting my time.
Jimmy says, what about burying
a
Ouija board? I knew someone that had a medicine man bury it far away from a particular place.
I've heard of that. Yes, I have heard of that. I've also had people throw them away and like, basically burying it because they're putting it in a landfill. I won't. You're not supposed to burn them. You're not burn them. Now I bought a playing deck, and when I opened it, inside unrolled was a Ouija, like a board, and I was not happy with it. I rolled it all back up and I donated it to one of my stores, and someone else can have it because there was no energy on it. But I'm like, if you want that, then you take it because I'm not. So I donated it. So that's what I do. So,
all right. Okay. It's our favorite time of the week right now here at 21.6 The Net. This is your chance to ask Lana, the master psychic, a question. Be very particular. We've got hundreds of thousands of people listening on the internet, and we've got a ton of people that have chimed in here as well. So be very, very particular. If we don't get to your question, reach out to her at www.enchantedskye.com. Jackie asks, when will my boyfriend's new contract start at his job? It keeps getting delayed, and it will help us financially.
Something about November, Jackie. Something about November. Okay. Now, if you guys want to call me on my phone, you can. I think people were calling me early because this is a number. This is an 815 number. So I think it might be somebody else, but I'm 608, but remember you're 815, and I'm right 6 miles from 815. So, yep.
Right on.
There we go. Okay, so go ahead.
Christian says, is there a fire air sign I need to be careful with my trust in September? Your tarot reading has me wondering, who are you referring to? It had to do with a Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, and a Three of Swords.
Well, I don't remember my tarot reading. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I will tell you that those are pretty darn accurate. And it may be somebody like I just did your personal readings, by the way, everybody. I just taped them. I'm going to be loading them. I'm also doing the whole month of September. So I am producing them left and right so that because I'm not gonna be able to talk. So it'll be your October readings. But it kind of feels like it may be somebody in your work, Christian, to be honest. There's something like in that realm. I don't know where I picked that up from. Remember, I channel it. So, but it's somebody that just be careful. Sometimes these people don't have good intentions for you. You know what I'm saying? And they're in it for themselves. Sometimes they're narcissistic. And if they can throw you under the bus, they will. So just keep watching. Okay. Because it could be very slight. It could be very big. It didn't, because I didn't get a tower card with anything. So it isn't huge, but it's something to watch. See, here we go again. That gestalt thing where you're the bigger picture. Okay. Yep. All right. Go ahead.
Beautiful. Liz says, hi, I've been contemplating a move. Currently living in the Southeast and thinking of moving back to New England. Do you see me moving within the next year?
In the spring.
Oh, nice.
You've already start locating your place to go, because I feel like you already have. You already made your decision. See what I'm saying? You guys already know the answers to most of the stuff I say. It's just me confirming it to you. Okay? You already knew that. Right so on. That's why a lot of this isn't magic. It's not, because I'm just connecting to you and I can see kind of what you got planned.
Okay? There you go. It's Laura says, Laura says, what's coming towards me in love this fall? I am a Cancer.
You have to be more specific. Sorry. You have to be more specific, Laura. Okay. Because I've got probably how many, what you got, about 755,000 people watching? Something like that. There's a lot of people on here. And it's very hard for me. If you're very specific, I can pull you out of the crowd. That is literally what I'm doing. Okay. All right.
Deanna, kind of the same thing. Deanna says, hey, Alana, any message about work for me? A little more specific.
It's kind of vague. Yeah, you got to be a little more specific. Let me see if I can try. No, it's really hard. If you were calling me just to call me and it's just you, that's a completely different matter. Matter of fact, anybody who's had a reading with me, I know why you're calling, because they're already talking to me before you call. And they'll be, how did you know that? Why I was calling about that? I'll say, you're calling about your boyfriend. And they'll, oh my God, how'd you know? Because they told me. I'm just repeating what they're telling me. Okay. So that's anyway. So let's go on.
Yeah, Liz says, I was actually thinking spring. Thanks for the move.
Okay, all right. Told you.
Me says, I will have a job interview on Monday. Will I be successful to get that job? That is the job that I really want to do.
I want to tell you, I don't know if you like me to tell you this, but there's another one coming that you're going to like just as much. So I don't know if there's another one that's going to pop in here or what. I would say there's another one. Now, this one may be offered to you, but I kind of feel like it's between you and like quite a few people. Like there's 3, 4, 5 people. So don't be upset if you don't, because there's one coming right after it. I am absolutely sure on. When I say I am absolutely sure, it's not coming from me. I'm channeling it.
There you go.
Okay. So I don't know what else to tell you, but don't be upset by that. Go to your interview, talk to them. I want to say that they're gonna offer maybe 2 jobs. Like maybe they're gonna hire 2 people. I don't know why. I don't know where I'm getting that from, but like I said, I'm channeling it. Okay.
All right. Anna says, do you still see a man, a boyfriend coming into my life?
Yeah. Probably in a little bit longer than you'd like, Anna. I don't know what if I told you a different time, because now I'm seeing more like February, March. Sometimes the timing gets off a little too. Mm-hmm. Timing is fluid. That's why it's really hard for a lot of psychics to be accurate with time. I'm not too bad, but I have been off, and I will say I have been off because I am not perfect. I had one person that I said he'd get married, and I said when he would, and it was like 2 years later, but he did get married. It was the person I said, but it was off in time. And he's like, man, that was off. And I'm like, because time's fluid. It's hard. sometimes time is difficult. I'm usually fairly accurate, and I always say prayers for that. So I give good messages.
There you
But
go.
I'm too. So
There you
okay.
go. Laura says, will I move out in September?
No, October.
Very good.
That was easy.
Well, this is another easy one. How do we sign up for classes?
Oh, don't. For my classes, okay, I'm giving like actual in-person classes right now. But if you want to join my Patreon, could you put this in here, Kent? It's Lana's Patreon, patreon.com, and then Lana's Enchanted Sky. So when you put in Patreon, it says who you want to join, Lana's Enchanted Sky, because that's my YouTube channel name. And you can join that. And so, yeah, because I'm starting to fill up, and I only will take 10 people. That's it. And you will see me twice a month all year. So you personally see me. Okay. And also I'm going to be offering like promos and classes through there. Now the classes, you might have to pay a little money, like 15, 20 bucks or something. So I haven't gotten that far. It took me a year, you guys, to get my own my own sweatshirts. I'm going as fast as I can. And remember, I'm still working. So is Kent. We all have day jobs, all of us. So you have to remember we're busy. So we're going the best we can. So it's getting there. I have somebody that's when's your novel coming out? When's your novel? And I'm like, as soon as I get it done, as soon as I get it to it.
There we go. Sharon Adcock says, should I trade in my car for a van and live on the job site?
That would get you where you want to be financially, and that'll help you save a lot of money so that you can buy that house or whatever you want. You want to buy something that will allow you to be like that. You will only be like that for about 9 months, Sharon, or so. And you will have enough money to do what you want. And I'm not sure. It feels like it's a house or something. So
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, here we go one more time. My little spiel about the housing market. It's falling apart. Wait 9 months, you'll get a good deal. I still say it.
Things are coming back. Yep.
Okay.
Isaac says, went through a lot this summer. What stage of life am I moving into next? What do I need to do to keep my eyes open for?
That was your awakening, Isaac. That was your awakening. And I want to say right now, and I just said this earlier in the podcast, that from now until December, manifestation is much, much, much easier than it ever has been. And this kind of thing only happens every 85 years. It only happens once in a lifetime. If you want something now, go get it. You'll get it. Okay. It will happen. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
All right. Fair enough. Jen says, my daughter Mia, she's a teenager, was wondering what nice spirit is around her protecting her. She often thinks I'm calling her name, but say it's a guide, not me calling her name.
It's not a guide. It's like a grandma or a great grandma, because it's an older lady with gray hair. She's kind of short, a little bit heavier set. She's very sweet. And I want to say she's very motherly. So that's why I say it's a grandma or a great grandma.
Nice.
And so remember, you have an ancestral guide, you have spirit guides. Spirit guides are the ones that sometimes they will appear like shadows. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I got this black entity that I can see out of the corner of my eye. It's probably your guide. Or it could be an angel. I have seen angels black because they're like shadows, because they're in another dimension. You're catching it like in the corner of your eye. People are like, oh my God, it was black. And it was a guide. Just relax.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, that's 90% of the time. And if you do invoke angels, they don't appear like they are on TV and on pictures where they're glowing in white. They are much, much different than you would ever imagine.
Jen says, that's Choo Choo Grandma. I told her it was her great grandma. Thanks. I thought so. That's cool.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Tracy.
Thank you for the validation.
Yeah. Tracy says, will I stay at my current employer or find another job?
You're going to find another job that's going to, right now, Tracy, listen, you guys, one more time, listen. Right now is manifestation time. Go get it. You want it, you're going to get it. Go now before December. Go get it. Now, the energy might go in because you get that, you applied for that job, and it might not start till the beginning of the year, but you're going to get it. Do it now. And yes, you're getting a new one. Okay.
Awesome. Here's an
All
easy
right.
one
One more
for you.
question.
We got two. We'll do this. Do you have time available for readings before you have your tonsillectomy?
Yes, Deanna. I have okay, if you go on my
That's right.
enchantedsky.com, look at my times I have open. I have tomorrow. I decided to go horseback riding. I've only been gone like once this year. I haven't gotten to go. So I'm going in the morning, but I've got all afternoon open Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
All right.
And I know they're kind of in the evening, so I apologize to the European people. I usually have save Sunday mornings open, which would be Sunday night there. So see what I'm saying? Or Sunday afternoons tonight. And I just don't right now because I have it. So, but yes. Okay.
All right, and Nancy's got
One
one
more
last
question?
one
Yes. Okay.
for this, and then folks pray and send good vibes and healing vibrations to Lana as she'll have her tonsillectomy in about a week. So Nancy says, "I'm traveling to meet my daughter in September. Does it look like all will go well with that?"
Yes, you might have one bloop in the road. Are you taking a car? If you're taking a car, I want you to watch, make sure your tires are taken care of, something. But it's not a big deal. I want to tell you, and the rest of the time you're going to just love it. You're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, I want you to be careful on the road. Are you going on the road? Because I see something about the road. So be careful. Keep your eyes on the road. Don't run over anything. Something like that, though. So just be careful, okay, Nancy? All right.
All
Okay.
right, that's going to wrap up this session of Metaphysical Meanderings. Thank you for tuning in. Very humbled and blessed to get caught in the net this morning. 216 The Net is where you find Lana every Saturday morning. All other times, check her out at www.enchantedskye.com, where we're also going to be opening a store, and you can get some gear and swag for the show and for 216 The Net. Everybody, thanks so much. Enjoy, be safe, and remember, be decent to your fellow human beings.
That's right. Bye.